Hey guys, NJ here. Just thought I'd do a quick vlog just to say hello and to let you know that I'm sorry that the channel's been a little bit quiet. I've been extremely busy with work and traveling a hell of a lot. So it's meant the channel suffered a little bit, but I am back now and I will be working. I am currently working on some reviews for some new products. Before I get onto that, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I can't actually believe I've made it to 4,000 subscribers. When I first kind of started, I've had the channel for quite a long time, but when I first started really focusing on the multi-rotor stuff, I guess that it was kind of to start putting my freestyle stuff out there, because that's my first and foremost love is flying quadcopters freestyle, and I hope you've been enjoying those videos as much as any of them. But I guess the first focus was the flight school stuff, and please don't think that's gone away. I still have a big number of crazy freestyle maneuvers, covering all different levels that I will be working on. Obviously, things are a little more tricky now that the weather's turned really cold here in the UK. I went out tonight for a night flight test, and by the end of 1 3-minute battery, my fingers were absolutely frozen. I don't like the cold at the best of times. That said, I will be running away to the warmth of Dubai for 6 days in January, so I'm going to try and sneak some. Again, it's out there with work, but I'm going to try and sneak some quads out with me and do some testing in warmer climates while I can. But moving on to that, there's lots planned for the channel. Obviously, one of the nice things of having these subscriber levels go up to the levels of where they are and continuing to climb is the fact that I do get approached for reviews by quite a lot of companies now. And I should just point out, people like Bruce and Painless, Joshua, all of these guys, the BMS web guys that I saw out in Australia. You would have seen from my previous video. Great guys, by the way. Go and subscribe to them if you haven't yet. One of the things that they will have as an issue, which I certainly do, is we get sent far more links for products to test than you could possibly imagine. I mean, the stuff we get sent, there's so much. I don't want to say rubbish. There is a lot of rubbish in there, but there's so much stuff that is just not appropriate for the channel. And if I was just a yes man and said yes to everything that was suggested to me, this room would be absolutely full of bizarre flying toys, quadcopters, and some of them are literally toys. There would be so much stuff that I could review, but what's the point? I've wanted this to be concise and focused and good content to leave you guys informed about things that are relevant to the hobby we're in and what we're doing and the focus of this channel. So for that reason, most of these emails that are sent to me, I respectfully decline. But occasionally good stuff does come along, and when it does, I'll say yes, and I'll think, what, my subscribers will probably want to know about this because this is a cool product. Now, I do have some smaller quadcopters, a couple of which have arrived with me, a couple on the way. One of those is here. This was sent over from Banggood. This is the UB. Awesome, A for awesome. That looks almost like the A-Team logo there. This little guy, 130s I think could be popular, certainly here in the UK right now, or anywhere where winter is kicking in and it's cold. And you want something which is still brushless but small and could fly in large indoor areas but then still perform well outdoors. This caught my eye just because of the specs. It's 4S ready out of the box. It's got a 4-in-1 PDB ESC, which is running Beal Heli S. 4S ready motors and a F3 flight controller with the VTX built in. It's light, specs look good on paper, so we're going to take a closer look at that. Price point is good too. What else can I tell you? There is also, this is what I do the majority of my freestyle videos on. This is my QAVR. Now, one thing I discovered recently, when I did something really stupid. When I went out to Australia, I changed to these Fusion X25s just before I went, and it was a stupid thing to do. It was a risk. like changing my setup before I went, because I found that I was having some oscillation problems with these when I stuck these on. I remember I did a quick flight review of these, and I thought I could tune that out. And when I got out to Australia, no matter what I did with the tune, I couldn't get rid of the oscillations. I just couldn't get these motors to perform the way I wanted them to. I just couldn't get the tune dialed in. It so turned out that it's the BL Heli settings that you need to mess with, the DMAG, not DMAG, sorry, the motor timing. And I tried medium high, I tried all different ones except the one that I actually needed. With these incredibly strong magnets, these real high torque motors, it turned out you needed a medium low motor timing, and as soon as I got that on, these all work perfectly. And now I'm having a great time with these motors. So if you're having trouble with oscillation on the X25 ZMX motors, they are great motors, they do perform really well, but you must choose a medium low motor timing. Certainly with the 2300 kV versions, you might find if you're running the 26, a medium is what to go for, but either way, that is something to bear in mind. It's not something I could change while I was out there because I was using the KISS flight controller with DYS XS20 speed controller, so there was no BL Heli pass-through option. A quick chat about the KISS flight controller. Now, I think the KISS flight controller, bear in mind, I've tried every, just a huge variety of flight controllers in my 6 years of messing around with quadcopters, right the way from, KKs to Open Pilots. I helped with the funding of the original Open Pilot CC3D and the Revo. In fact, there's my original Open Pilot Revo right there. I've tried out so many different controllers and software, and the KISS, in terms of flying, the KISS is just a wonderful controller to fly when it's dialed in. It really is. I'm not going to be a fanboy here and say, oh, KISS is the best, but it is. In terms of flying, it is great. There is absolutely no question about it. What I don't like about the KISS flight controllers is the quality of the hardware, and I've seen an overwhelming amount of problems with these KISS controllers, with solder pads lifting, and you just shouldn't be in the PCB business if you can't create a PCB with solder pads that stay down when you solder to them at normal temperatures. It's, some of you are lucky and haven't had the problem, but I know so many people who are perfectly good at soldering that have had this problem. Now, mine soldered up fine, but within a week, Motorpad 3 had just lifted, the solder pad had lifted off, the adhesive gave way underneath. I've got an old Naze 32 that is absolutely, has been abused, that has been put in and out of loads of different quads. I've given it to beginners, it's come back, given it to other people, and that Rev 5 Naze 32 has had so much soldering abuse, not by me, but by people who've soldered on it, and I've never seen a pad lift on those. They're great. Now, the KISS flight controller, they need a revised hardware, and that will really change the game for that controller, certainly as far as I'm concerned. There's also some issues in terms of how certain things are wired up. I mean, when I went onto the forum, I said Motorpad 3 has lifted. Is there a way around this? Can you remap to Motorpad 6 or Motorpad 5? Is there a way to just move that around? Unfortunately, there wasn't. There's so many features that are missing that, in Betaflight would be quite an easy thing to sort. I know you can put Betaflight onto the KISS, but that's not the point of having a KISS flight controller as far as I'm concerned. I bought it to fly its proprietary software. But the point being, the issue with that hardware was that they suggested, or Flydrino directly suggested, going to the wiki, where they gave a suggestion of using, there's a side port, there's like an mini connector on the side, mini XJT connector on the side, which is meant to be, essentially like a parallel connection to those four PWM motor pads, and you could use one of those, the corresponding Motorpad 3, you could use the side port PWM3 and connect that to your ESC, problem solved. So I did that, I used the side port connection, and then what I found was Motor 3 was the only one that wasn't working, and I thought, well, okay, that can't be a coincidence. So I put the board under a magnifying glass. I scraped back to find the trace points on that solder pad and see what was going on. And what I found out was quite interesting, which was the solder pad itself was bridging the connection between the controller and the side port. So the minute the solder pad lifted, that connection, which is in series, is broken. Now, what would have made more sense was to have a parallel connection to those 2 points. So if one connection died, the other one still had a direct connection to the controller. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and what they suggested in the wiki wasn't going to work. And that's a physical limitation of the way that the trace is run on that board. So after discovering that, I set about fixing it by using a couple of strands of servo wire and some solder and bridging those 2 trace points, the one coming from the controller to the solder pad, and the solder pad where it connects then off to the side port. Once I bridged that connection, the side port PWM3 came to life and it all worked. So I posted that as a fix. They did add it to the wiki as an alternative fix to their fix, or an alternative fix to use if their fix doesn't work, even though my fix shows why their fix won't work. Anyway, at least they have added it. If you are having that problem and you've just decided to throw your flight controller, throw it away, dig it back out of the bin, you can fix it, and there's a way to do it. That board needs to be stronger, it needs to be better quality, and when it does, I'll revisit it. In the meantime, it's come out, and what has gone in is the Revolt flight controller, which has been sent to me to review. So far, my testing with that, I'm happy to report it's been excellent. So there will be a video on the Revolt, and I will also talk through my tuning and how that has worked out on this quad. Other things that I've changed recently, I'm now using the Session 5. I'm really happy to be using the Session. I had the old Session, I just didn't like its light handling performance, wasn't great, and in Superview it had some strange problems in low light where the frame rate would kind of dip and then accelerate, and yeah, it was a bit of a mess. The new Session 5, great price point, and it's kind of the Hero Session 4's black crammed into here. Yeah, really happy with the performance of that, so that's a good thing. Neil Cody over at iDrone has also sent me a couple of these to try out. These are the AC, I think you pronounce them, 75C 1500 milliamp 4S batteries. I have only done a few flights on these, so I still I've got to run them in and then draw some kind of conclusion and opinion on these. So far, good power right the way to the end. Yeah, the initial tests look good, and I now have in my QAVR the new Maytech PDB with OSD built in, and it's also got some LC filtering. Not the best LC filtering in the world, but good enough. It's got a 140 amp current sensor in here, and an LC filter, big current sensor, mounted all on the same board. I didn't think it was going to be amazing, but it's still certainly good enough. I really love the OSD built into this. Really easy to wire up, and it gives you just the information you need. One of those things that it does give you information wise is when you land and it sees less than 2 amps coming through the system, it will tell you the maximum amount of amps you drew out of the pack and the minimum voltage sag during the flight, and those two statistics will help give me a better idea of how these batteries are performing against some of the other batteries that I have. Obviously not the greatest test in the world, but certainly good indication. So yeah, that new Maytech PDB OSD, I think it's around £12 to buy here in the UK. Really liking that OSD, really minimal, tells you just what you need, and I prefer to have that information just in the corners than my Tyrannus consistently whinging at me about low and critical battery. So there's that. One other thing, you remember these guys, Menace RC, they have now this new Raptor. You remember my review on this, hopefully, if you go back a few videos, I did a review on this, and this was an excellent excellent patch antenna. They have now this pagoda antenna, which is yeah, really small, really light. They're mass producing these and claim a 20% efficiency. I shall be doing some similar testing to what I did before with these. This is my prototype one that Greg sent me to have a look at. He did say that the retail version of this was going to have a protective shroud on it, and I was recently at the weekend at the drone show and I caught up with Greg, and he gave me one of the new production ones, and you can see now it does indeed have the casing on it, which you can see there, which now makes it really tough. And yeah, again, initial testing, very impressed, but I shall be doing some more in-depth testing on that. So one last time, just a huge thanks to you guys for, you know, the subscriptions, the support, the great comments. As I said, this is just one of the best hobbies to be in, and you know, I absolutely love doing the channel and interacting with all of you guys, and I hope everything that I put out there, you know, I put a lot of effort into the videos. I want everything to leave you informed, no matter what you're doing, whether it's going away and doing the learning from the flight tutorial stuff, or whether you're going away and taking a review, and you know, that's a reason why you're going to buy something. And I do always try to answer, you know, say thank you to every great, you know, whatever your comment is, I always try to answer it, and I will continue to do that as much as I can. I do have a Patreon. It would be great if any of you can help out. You know, it's just a $1 and a $5 tier. If any of you can spare $1 to help me out a month, it does help. It's these channels aren't actually something that are cheap to run. For instance, this Ubi that I'll be reviewing, you know, I chose to review this. Yes, I've got sent this for free, but I still had to buy two 850 milliamp Tattoo batteries to you know, because I know most of you won't be interested in the 3S performance of that, so I went and bought some good quality 4S batteries, and that will, you know, that will cost me, I think it cost me delivered around £30. I needed an XSR receiver, which was another £22. You know, that's, you know, £52 down before I've even got on to reviewing and monetizing the video. So that Patreon money is really right now just to help me break even, so that I can continue to purchase bits to fill in the blanks when it comes to reviewing things that I think will be interesting to you guys. You know, I'm not trying to say give me money so I can, you know, have loads of money as just, you know, gravy money just to go and spend on stuff I want. It's not. It's so that I can kind of sustain the channel and not be too much in the red just from trying to get the videos out. The more you can help out with things like that, I would really appreciate it. So if any of you have seen my videos and something's been of great help to you, and you can afford to, you know, contribute, you know, even if it's just $1 a month, it helps me out massively. So thank you very much. The $5 tier, I tell you what I'm going to do, because this stuff that I get is not all stuff that I'm going to want to keep, and you know, already I'm collecting a lot of review samples and material. So right now I think I have one Patreon, so within the month I think I'm going to look to actually give something away, and I will continue to do so. I can't make any promises yet, but if you're in that pool of my $1 patrons or $5, anyone that's contributing to that, you will be in the draw when it comes to me giving away stuff. If you're in that $5 tier, I'm going to look to set up maybe a time when we can all get together and chat, and I can help you guys out with any problems you're having. Maybe you want to talk about tuning, whatever. I will set aside some time once or maybe twice a month to for us all to get together and chat, and you can ask me my questions. So, you know, while those numbers are low, and I have one Patreon, he's going to be winning that, he or she is going to be winning that quadcopter or whatever it is I choose to give away until those numbers start going up. So, and I will try to keep giving stuff away, you know, maybe some of these old prototype bits and pieces that I, you know, will no longer need, you know, I'll quite happily put those in to send out. So that's where we are, that's how we're moving forward. Thank you guys, sorry this took so long, and yeah, lots of exciting things to come, so stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one.